Hey, it's Rocky Tapscott here. So what I'm going to cover in this video is the two-line email that resuscitates dead leads. And this is just a very simple message that can revive sales you thought you might have lost up to a third of the time. Now for some people, some markets, it might be 5% or 10%, but I've seen it work in up to 33% or even more sometimes, depending on the relationship you had with the people already and the type of market you're in. It's something you may have seen people use and you may have thought about it yourself, but it's something that most people never use. And I have to give credit to Dean Jackson for showing me this, and I've used it and I have clients that have used it and it's worked very well. So here's the big picture. If you have email addresses of people who have expressed an interest in buying from you or selling with you, if you're a real estate agent for example, and they never completed the sale, or they might have decided to cancel a contract or whatever, for some reason the sale didn't proceed, or if you haven't been in touch with them for a while, you send them a personal email from your private email account. So this is not from your business account, it has no formatting, it's just a private email, one person to another, that says, and the subject is hey, their first name. If this is a person who was thinking of buying from you, you just say hey first name in the subject line, and the entire email is, hey John, are you still thinking of buying a whatever it was that they were going to buy from you? A good example would be, are you still thinking of buying a new shed? Are you still thinking of installing a pool? Are you still thinking of buying a yacht? The yacht one in particular is a great example because I heard from Dean a story where a yacht broker sent that exact email to a person who was interested in a yacht, and the guy finished up placing an order for a $120 million super yacht. So that's the kind of results you can get. He sent one email and he got a $120 million order. Not saying you're going to do the same thing, results are not typical, but that's the kind of power this has, because the idea of this is you want to re-engage with people and restart the conversation. So for example, say you've had a person who's come to you and they've got a quote to put a shed in their backyard, but for whatever reason they didn't buy through you and you never heard from them, you never followed up, because we all get busy and it's sometimes these things fall through the cracks. So you don't know if that person bought a shed from somebody else or if they did nothing. So 30, 60, 90 days later, if you just sent them a personal email from your Gmail account or from wherever you send your personal emails saying, hey Joe, are you still thinking about buying a shed? And ideally, if you could send this message from an email that they sent you, so you contacted them by email and they'd written back, if you could use this email as a reply to their email, it then rebuilds that connection between, okay, we've had correspondence before, now we're having correspondence again. And ideally, the person will write back to you. Sometimes they won't, sometimes they will. But you've got to be ready for the next question. So if they write back and say, yes, I am still thinking of buying a shed, you've got to be then ready to say, that's great. Would you like to come in and have a look at our sheds, or would you like to call me on the phone, or we have a special this month, and if you call me now, I can tell you about it. The idea is to get them to pick up the phone, ideally, and call you back, because you want to re-engage with people, and your best clients are those that are easy to work with and who are willing to engage with you, to talk with you and tell them what they need and their problems. So this is a fantastic way to get those people to come back and start talking with you again. And being a question, it virtually begs to be answered. So it's just like you walking up behind someone at a coffee shop and saying, hey John, how are you going? And you haven't seen them for a while, and the person looks around and they're going to think or say, are you talking to me? And this is a way of picking out people who you want to talk to again, and they're going to say, hey, he's talking to me. And by the time you reply back, if they reply to you, you reply back, they realize they're not talking to a machine, there's a real person there, and they will start to engage with you. They'll start to tell you their story. Here's what it would look like. Very simple email, no formatting. I just sent this one to myself as an example. But subject line, hey Rocky, there's a date, and hey Rocky, are you still thinking of buying a yacht? Every word on this has been tested and tested, so that you want to copy this exactly. You don't want to put in extra words or try and sell anything at the end. You want to say it exactly like this and leave the question open-ended. What a lot of salespeople will try and do is they'll say, are you still thinking of buying a yacht? If you are, I've got this great deal. That will completely change the message, and you're pitching them again. You don't want this to be a pitch. You want this to be a personal email from a friend to another friend. Here's some of the proof this works. As this gentleman says, I was very surprised. This person hadn't got back to him after he tried to reach out to him twice, and it had been many months. He tried it, and the guy called him back. It's magical to see someone who I never thought would reply. And he says here, it's likely to result in money in his pocket, and he only used the message once. This is from Mike Koenigs. He's a great internet marketer. And I cut a piece out of the middle here because there was a bit of personal information in there, but this is the top and the bottom of the message. So he says he found email open rates to be 15 to 200% higher than what he considered to be typical, and you're able to drive a list of people who haven't responded onto a new list. So you're reactivating people who you may have neglected or who have fallen through the cracks, and you invite them onto a new list in exchange for something, a report, an ebook, a video, just your newsletter, to get them reactivated again. He says they saw irrefutable proof that the strategy worked. He sent the email out, and 60% of those dead leads opted into his new list. Very hard to do that any other way. Here's a good example. Are you still curious about Infusionsoft? He sent a personal email to 40 leads that had been sitting for over a month, and he got a 40% response rate. And 5 ended up buying Infusionsoft in the following days. Can't argue with the numbers. Here's another good example. Are you still accepting new affiliates? Works wonders for making deals. This is mainly for online marketing, but you could use it in a local business as well. Another one, are you still interested in creating the Portico Impact team? And by sending that message, Jeff's just been given the nod for over $8 million in new seafood business, and he's been selected to lead a program that could generate another $5 million in commissions. Amazing stuff. So this is the same thing but for selling, ideal in real estate or markets where you're acting as a broker. So as an example, hey first name, are you still thinking of selling your whatever it is, Winnebago? A stockbroker could say, are you still thinking of selling covered call options to a person who'd inquired about that? A car broker could say, are you still thinking about selling your Mercedes 600? And there's the selling side of the yacht. So this is what it would look like for a real estate agent. For real estate or something that's very specific, it might be the type of boat, it could be the type of car, okay? But this is a real estate example. You put in the subject line, you don't say, hey name, you put in space, and then the address. So the person that gets this is going to say straight away, hey, this is my property. What is this about? And you just say, hey Rocky, are you still thinking of selling 22 Honeysuckle Way? And that's it. You don't say, if you are, I have a great buyer. You don't try and sell them on listing with you. You don't say anything else. The whole idea of this is to get people to re-engage with you and pick up the phone. Now you might have to send this message once a month for 3 months. And once you've done that, the people will either write back and say, no, we've sold, or no, we're not selling, or they'll say something about, yes, we'd like to sell, what can you do for us? And then you can start the conversation. So then you've got to be ready for the next part of the conversation, which is probably going and seeing them, getting the listing, whatever it is for you. So to sum up, here's the main points. The email must come from your personal email account. It can't have any branding on it, no formatting, no sales pitch of any kind. If you do that, it will completely lose its power. It's got to look like the kind of email that a friend would send to another friend. You need to send it once a month until you get a reply, yes, no, or whatever, and you will eventually get a reply. What you're looking for is the love letter. And the love letter is where people write back and say, yes, we'd really like to sell our house, we've had all this trouble with the current broker, we just can't seem to get any people through, and they'll tell you their story. And once you've heard their story, that's the signal they're giving you that they want to re-engage, they want to talk with you more. Here's why this works. You're going to attract the people who are ready to engage with you, who are ready to take action. In any market, there's really only 1 to 5% of the people at any given time are ready to take action right now. You're going to pick up those people who are ready to do something right now, and they're the clients that are going to give you money more quickly than any other clients. They're the people who are closest to being ready to buy or sell right now. Once you get them on the phone or you're interacting through email, you can work out if they're going to be good to work with, because you don't want to work with people who are a pain in the butt. And they've raised their hands and they've asked for your help. And the 4 most powerful words in marketing is when someone raises their hand and says, I need your help. Because then they will take your advice in most cases and they'll let you lead them to the solution that you provide.